to our public meeting at the MRC. And I'm standing up just so you can hear this. We have a new system which is extremely sensitive. Picks up whispers, murmurs. Please keep all conversations to yourself. We can only have one person speaking at a time so that we have the very best recording go on Facebook Live. And you'll also notice on the screen that it's an owl. It has a way of zeroing in on a person's face who is speaking. So I think it's going to be much better received by the public, by our residents who've had some frustrations in the past. So just wanted to, so we will not, our members of the public, you will not need a microphone. It will be well heard.
And remind everybody that it's around the table too, if we want to talk, we can lift our hands, so we're not talking about anything.
Right. My very capable DG has just reminded me to remind you, members of council, to put up your hand and only one mayor will be speaking at a time. Great. Thank you very much.
Like Gordon said, it's very sensitive. They can hear you're whispering over there.
Okay, I would like to open the meeting with a couple of announcements. First of all, we did try at the request of Elena Kaywood residents to move the location of the meeting. We were looking at the Campbell's Bay RA. We apologize that it is here. We have a bylaw that was moved in 2023 that requires at this point, maybe someday we can change this, but right now we have to hold a public vote on a meeting location change because we're mandated to use LC Gibbons right now. Secondly, we need to give 7 days public notice, not just 72 hours. And I believe that in the last 7 years, we've had 3 major issues that have attracted big crowds. Otherwise, we don't always have much of an audience. The first one was when we were looking at making the PPJ multi-use. The second was the incineration. And the third has been the evaluation assessment issue at Elena Kaywood. For the future, when we know that we have an item that is going to attract a lot of interest, perhaps there could be a way that we could register names or have email or phone call, let us know that they'll be coming. And then in good time, say for our plenary meeting, we might be able to hold a special meeting at it and move a change of location. Fortunately, it seems tonight I had warned Mayor Carl and he had spoken to his councillor, to Isabel, and I had mentioned it to Angela Giroux, that tonight we are not voting on the bylaw, but we are tabling it. And so it is an important meeting for you to be for, but I'm thankful that everybody seems to have a seat tonight. Second thing I wanted to say is we came through the season of Remembrance Day, and I just want to again say that it's wonderful compared to some things that happened in other parts of Canada. We had many municipalities either join together with other municipalities or hold their own. I think Remembrance Day was very well observed in MRC Pontiac. Very proud of that. And of course, proud of our Legion 162. Third thing I wanted to say is that this is a publication that came out, and I think we've had some mayors on it before. In fact, I'm told that Mayor Corey Spence from Little Zellumet is always on it. And what this is the Reso Biblio, and we have 3 mayors on this. One was Mayor Corey Spence, who says that he recommends a book called Crucial Conversations. We have Sandra Armstrong, who chose Trace, which is a mystery, and Doris Ranger, Wild Card, a mystery. So I could pass it around, let the other mayors look at it. Just be aware that the noise of the crinkling paper is going to be picked up. And finally, and most importantly, it was brought to our attention, and there were people in this room who were involved, and just want to say how thankful we are that Grace Bojo and found safe. And I understand Maggie is here. Are you Maggie? Maggie? I can't imagine what you've been through, but we are so thankful. And as a very well-written editorial in the Equity by Charles Dixon, talking about how strongly the community came together. But to think that from Thursday night until Saturday, that your mom could be as well as she is. So we are, I'm going to ask actually Carl Mayer, he wanted, yes, to thank a few.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all
all
the people from all the municipalities that went back to help the early family to find your mother. It was a great success and there was lots of people and I'm glad your mom's all right.
Going to say our new DGA, Terry LaFleur, was present, and you said you were one of 400 people, Terry? 400, something like that easily, and just how rough the terrain was, swamp-like, it's just amazing. And Maggie, is it true that your mom has come out of the hospital?
She got home at noon.
Hallelujah, and she's well?
Well.
I guess they were concerned, Carl was saying that she might have had pneumonia or something like that.
They were concerned that she had pneumonia, but she's been clear. She just had some bumps and bruises and well.
What an experience and what a brave person she was. So please let her know that we are so thankful and that we recognized her tonight and your family. It's very special that you're here. Thank you. All right, now we will start our TNO meeting. This is the meeting where I am the mayor of the TNO and the members around the table are the councillors. So we will have a resolution, please, to open, and we've already sent the attendance sheet around. Opened by Councillor Raymond Pilon. Recorded. Very sensitive sound system for those who've just arrived. Picks up all numbers, so we have to one person speaking at a time. And also the picture is much better because as whoever is speaking in the room, the camera can pick that person up. And this will be available tomorrow on our MRC website. Declaration, use of language of your choice. Je rappelle l'importance pour les membres du conseil régional et les autres participants à la séance de s'exprimer librement dans la langue de leur choix. Au besoin, il y aura la présence sur place d'une ressource de la MRC pour assurer une traduction. I'd like to reiterate the importance for regional council members and other participants in the sitting to express themselves freely in the language of their choice. If necessary, a resource at the MRC will be available to ensure translation. And just a reminder, please turn cell phones off. Now I'll read the statement by the warden, the declaration of decorum. Nous sommes élus par les gens du Pontiac pour les représenter au meilleur de nos capacités. Ils s'attendent à ce que nous menions nos réunions d'une manière professionnelle. J'écouterai très attentivement les débats et les discussions de cette réunion et si j'entends des paroles négatives ou des critiques à l'égard de quelqu'un d'autre, j'arrêterai la réunion de s'excuser. Si cette personne refuse de s'excuser, je lui demanderai de quitter la salle. Je vous remercie. We are elected by the people of the Pontiac to represent them to the best of our ability. Expect us to conduct our meetings in a professional and business-like manner. I will be listening very carefully to the debate and discussion in this meeting, and if I hear any words of negativity or criticism of anyone else, I will stop the meeting and ask that person to apologize. If the person refuses to apologize, I will ask them to leave the room. Thank you. And I will have Madame Lesage, our DG, read the rest.
Toute personne peut, lors d'une séance du conseil, des images ou des sons au moyen d'un appareil technologique. Oh, this is the wrong one, eh, Travis? We're reading the wrong thing.
Just
Yeah.
read this at the bottom, is that
I
all?
have to read Article 150.
Oh, I see, it's on the back.
Ah, there we go.
There we go, pardon
Le
me.
président du conseil maintient l'ordre et le décorum et décide les questions d'ordre, sauf appel au conseil. Il peut ordonner l'expulsion de l'endroit où se tient une séance du conseil, toute personne qui en trouble l'ordre. The officer presiding over the sitting of the council maintains order and decorum and decides questions of order, saving appeal to the council. He may order that any person disturbing a sitting of the council be removed from the place where the sitting is held.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a counselor move resolution for of the agenda? Moved by Counselor Sandra Armstrong. Those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number 6, are there any declarations of interest or conflict on this agenda? Okay, seeing none. Number 7, could I have a resolution to adopt the minutes of the last sitting? Moved by Counselor Corey Spence. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number 8, public question period, but this is to do with the TNO. Probably the questions will be for public MRC council meetings. Finances. Annie Biancourt will now 9.1. We'll have a resolution after her report on accounts paid.
Okay, so for the TNO right now, we have a small amount in our accounts receivable, so there's just 2 bills for $10,898. And for all the bills paid in the last month, were $122,103.23, which a lot of it was road maintenance and of course with the employees' gas for the trucks, the visas were paid. Yeah, that's about it.
Any comments or questions on her report? Okay, could I have someone move the resolution? Moved by Councillor Doris Ranger. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. We'll go on to 9.2, which is the notice of motion and draft bylaw for expenses and revenues of the TNO for the year 2025. And this is a notice of motion.
Yes, it's just a notice of motion
Anything you'd like to
for,
say?
no, it's just for the bylaw for the budget, which will be adopted next month for the
In
TNO.
December.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 10, fire safety cover plan, a resolution for the readoption of the implementation plan.
Won't somebody have to,
Oh, I'm sorry, I always forget this. Thank you very much. You'll move it, Councillor Donnie Gagnon, thank you very much. And we don't need to vote on it.
no,
Okay, good, thank you. Number 10. The fire safety cover plan resolution for the readoption of the implementation plan, the PMO resolution, Annie Biancourt.
Yes, this was just a resolution to readopt the plan. So I think all the municipalities had passed resolutions. The MRC will have one as well tonight, and this is the one for the TNO.
Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, could I have someone move the resolution? Moved by Councillor Brent Orr. All those in favor, opposed, and that's carried. Number 11, the contribution TNO à l'achat d'un traîneau d'évacuation médicale pour les sauvetages sur neige. Resolution, Annie Biancourt.
So this is for, yes, the purchase of an emergency medical evacuation sled for snow rescue. So out in the, where ambulances can't go, so there will be use of a snowmobile, and this sled, medical sled would be used. So it's in a partnership with the municipality of Otter Lake. And they've gotten a quote for the equipment for $18,109, including taxes. And what is being proposed is that the municipality of Otter Lake would pay half of the cost, and the TNO would pay a quarter of the cost, so about $4,200, and then the MRC would pay the other quarter. So this is a resolution for the TNO to for this expense of $4,257.
Okay, any comments, Councillor Quayle?
Just to. As pro-mayor.
No, sorry, everybody's a councillor in the TNO meeting where I'm the mayor.
Okay,
So just like everyone else, yeah.
so just a correction on the, it's the fire department
Sorry.
Not the municipality of Ottawa.
Department.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And they've agreed to that.
Yes.
Okay, so could I have someone move the resolution? Councillor Jennifer Quill, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Number 12, the aromatic renewal of agreement 2025 resolution. Annie.
Yes, so this is another resolution to renew an agreement that we've already had now for a few years with paramedics. So for rescuing again in remote areas with a helicopter rescue. So the cost is about $16,000 and this is all paid for by the TNO. So we'd like a resolution to go ahead and sign the agreement for another year.
Okay, moved by Councillor Ed Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Number 13, demande de financement pour l'installation de ponceau dans la pourvoirie du lac Brûlé. Resolution, Matthew Laroche. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Good to be here. Donc, comme on le mentionnait, c'est une demande de partenariat de financement qu'on a reçu de la pourvoirie du Club de la Brûlée pour le remplacement de 2 ponceaux sur le secteur du lac Morris, qui se trouve avec la partie nord du chemin lac Jim, lac Boisprand. Donc, le montant total du projet il est environ 4 000 plus précisément 3 961,54. La MRC, conformément à notre politique de financement pour la réparation de ces chemins multiressources, on peut s'impliquer à un niveau de 50%, et c'est ce qu'on recommande dans cette résolution-ci. So, in English, we received a request for a financial partnership for the replacement of 2 culverts on the territory of Club de Pourvoirie Club Lac Brûlé in the area of Lac Morris. That's on the north end of James Lake Road. The total cost of the project is $3,961.64. So in compliance with our politique de financement for the repair of forestry roads, we can contribute up to 50%, and that's what we're recommending for this project. We're asking for a resolution for this.
Okay, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Any comments or questions? Moved by Councillor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Okay, number 14, Timber Tech Construction awarding of contract water crossings restoration program. Resolution, Matthew.
Donc, encore une fois, ça c'est une demande de résolution pour un contrat qui s'est octroyé pour le remplacement de 2 ponceaux sur le chemin du Manitou. Donc, plus précisément, au kilomètre 15, c'est un ponceau de 3 pieds. Au kilomètre 18, c'est un ponceau de 6 pieds. Le travail va être fait prochainement, même déjà entrepris. Considérant que ce projet-là avait déjà été entamé, mais qui a dû être résilié dû à des complications face à la conformité de la soumission, la MRC a demandé à 2 entreprises de fournir des solutions dans le but d'offrir ça de gré à gré. Donc, la plupart des solutions ont été retenues et conformes. Le contrat sera octroyé pour un montant de 59 327,10. Et on demande une résolution pour cela ce soir. So in English, we're asking a resolution in order to give a contract for construction for the replacement of 2 culverts on Manitou Road at kilometers 15 and 18. They're respectively a 3-foot and a 6-foot diameter culvert. After the first contract had to be resigned because of non-conformities, the call for tenders was put out to 2 companies, and the lowest of both bids was conformed and was retained for this work for the amount of $59,327.10. So we're resolution to go ahead and give that contract
This work will be done now at
as
this
soon
time.
as possible.
Right, yeah.
Before
You're in a
the
bit of a race.
Exactly.
Before the ground freezes. Yeah, thank you very much. Could someone take resolution? Moved by Councillor Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 15. Awarding of contract water crossings restoration program. Filero construction, resolution, Matthew LaRoche.
That's right. So I'm going to do a correction, the last resolution passed was not for Philly Road, but actually for Timber Tech construction.
Yes,
Donc,
okay.
la dernière résolution, je me suis trompé de compagnie,
So
c'était pas
those are
Philly
the
Road.
ten. Okay, good.
C'est Timber Tech, yes.
And this one is-
Timber Tech et non Philly Road.
Okay.
Désolé pour ça.
Thought about
Donc,
that.
ce contrat ici, c'est avec Filiero Construction. C'est pour le remplacement d'un ponceau et l'installation, la construction d'un pont qui va remplacer un ponceau. Il s'agit d'un pont de 8 mètres de longueur et d'un ponceau d'environ 5 pieds de diamètre qui vont être remplacés, respectivement au kilomètre 19 et au kilomètre 22 sur le chemin Manitou encore. Donc, considérant qu'on a eu des fonds d'un programme gouvernemental pour ça, considérant que l'offre reçue a été conforme par l'entreprise Phileo Construction, il est proposé d'octroyer ce contrat-là pour un montant de 169 750 $. Et on demande une résolution pour ça ce soir. So this is a second project on Manitou Roads. It consists of, again, 2 water crossing repairs. The first one is at kilometer 19, consists of building an 8-meter long bridge to replace a defunct culvert. And the second is at kilometer 22, where we'll be replacing a culvert with a 5-foot diameter culvert. In conformity, the bids were received and the lowest conformed bid was retained, which is Fideo Construction for the amount of $169,750. So we're asking a resolution for this contract.
And that includes an 8-meter long bridge.
That's right.
Okay. Could I have someone move this? Moved by Councillor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number 16, purchase of off-road vehicle for the CNO, resolution, Matthew LaRoche.
Donc, pour une fois, si on propose ici l'achat d'un nouveau véhicule en route pour l'équipe du TNO, considérant le relief et le territoire du TNO, considérant qu'il est nécessaire pour nos équipes pour accomplir leurs tâches, considérant les soumissions qu'on a reçues, plus particulièrement celles reçues de pièces d'auto-bois-fort, pour le montant, il est proposé nous demandons des résolutions pour procéder avec l'achat du véhicule pour le montant de 13 602,63 taxes. Ce montant-là va venir va sortir du budget de dépenses en capital véhicule. So, as Jane mentioned, we are wanting to purchase a new four-wheeler for our TNO team, considering the rough terrain and the need for our guys to be able to circulate up there. It's basically a necessity. So, considering those needs and considering we received quotes, we decided we went with the lowest quote. We are asking for a resolution to proceed with the purchase of the four-wheeler from Caisse d'Auto-Bois for the amount of $13,602.03. That's including taxes. This will be coming from the capital expenses vehicles budget.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Moved by Councillor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed, and that. Well done, Matthew. Nice to see you here tonight. 17, miscellaneous. I don't think there is anything under miscellaneous. Very good. 18, I have a resolution to close the sitting, moved by Councillor Ed Walsh. And all those in favor? Opposed, and the meeting is closed. Now we go on to the public meeting. Okay, and I know that our members of the public are here in particular for the draft bylaw. I was just inquiring whether we could move it up. Okay, so just to let you know, public question period is number 10, and we'll be dealing with this 11.1 right after. Okay, so it's early in the agenda. Could I have, so I'd like to welcome everyone to our public meeting of the MRC Council of Mayors, November 27th. Could I have a mayor please open the meeting with a resolution? Moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Number two, just to reiterate that this is being recorded by sensitive equipment called an owl, and it will be available Facebook Live on our MRC website tomorrow. And we want to welcome all members of the public, residents, etc., who are listening and joining with us tonight. Welcome. Number three, the statement use of language of your choice. I read it recently, so this also applies to this meeting. And number four, also the statement, the declaration of decorum by the warden. Number five, we need to add a resolution to our agenda tonight, and this is dealing with Commonwealth plywood. And we will call this number 16.1. Under miscellaneous, if you want to mark that in, we will have a resolution of support for Commonwealth plywood. Are there any other additions to the agenda? All right, could I have someone? Yeah. So we need to amend the agenda by adding that resolution. Could I have someone move the amendment? Moved by Mayor Donnie Gagnon to add the resolution on Commonwealth plywood. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. And now we will vote on the agenda with the amended agenda with that resolution added. Could I have someone move it, please? Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number six, are there any declarations of interest or conflict on this agenda? Okay, seeing none. Number seven, could I have a resolution to adopt the minutes of our last sitting in October? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. Number eight, warden's report. We had a longer time because in this month of November, we delayed our meetings by a week because of the budget. So I started after the last meeting doing some signatures for taxes with our notary. I attended the Pontiac Legion's AGM in Campbell's Bay. Went to the AGM for the Western Quebec Literacy, and I am now. I went to Kitty Van Zibby at the invitation of Sophie Chattel. It was a collaboration and Protection de la Biodiversité. We had a meeting in Quebec about the arenas, and I gather there's been some very successful work done. Could you just share a bit of information? You've been to the 3 arenas now, is that correct? Or Hydro-Quebec has?
Yes, well, Christine shared.
Okay, Christine, just tell us about this, please.
Actually, what they really helped us. They gave us a lot of information, telling us of ways to save on the energy, also different ways. It's complicated, but I think it's doable. And they will send us the recommendations. We will try them for a year, and if we do see that our bills are going down, hydro bills are going down, asking for the technicians to come and do work. We'll just continue with what we're doing.
Excellent.
But it was good.
And it was a free service they offered, and this was through Rochelle from our MRC who arranged this.
Yes.
Okay, Corey, did they come? Were you a part of it? Yes.
They came today. I didn't go myself, so
Yeah.
I haven't got an update yet, but.
Okay.
But I imagine it's very.
Probably
similar to that.
similar
Yes.
kind of inventory and
Yes.
everything. And Bill, what about Shawville?
They were there this morning. They gave us several suggestions that we can do right away at no cost. We can sign up for a program. They will come in and do a study and tell us the payback, the things we do. If we do them, they will be 100% paid. But It all depends on the payback, if it's going to be 10-year payback, a 5-year payback, a 2-year payback, so we need that report, but they did give us a lot of helpful stuff.
And I don't know what's been done in the past, but perhaps this is the first time we've had an inventory done, you know, and had Hydro-Quebec come in and actually show us how we could find some savings. So I think it was a really good exercise. Hope for good things because you're all in this together. So I'll just quickly finish up. Then there was a CSI meeting. Went to ODO presentation with Michelle Valliere, organized it. The Schéma de Management, the advisory committee, which many of you are on for our land and development revisions. The Plan d'Action Haute Pontiac link for presentation of Upper Pontiac with this was organized by Mayor Corey Spence with we had Waltham with Odette as well as Sandra Armstrong from Mansfield, all involved. Corey, would you like to just give a quick recap on what happened?
In October?
Yeah, with what the point of Marie's meeting, Marie Lou Sanonge, yeah.
So, yeah, so just a recap there. Mary Lou, who's a representative of Hydro-Quebec, came down, or actually was over the internet. We had a meeting with her group and some higher ups there. And they presented a very short presentation on what's happening within the Pontiac, what they're doing on our end and also on the rest of Pontiac. So in short, basically the network is in dire need of maintenance and some technological upgrades, and they're doubling their efforts this fall to make that happen. So things like the insulators on the wire posts and adding new items on there so that yeah, it just won't happen as frequently. Which is, in my opinion, a good start. We're expecting more from them, and we've organized another meeting, an update on their progress coming in the spring. And hopefully with the new announcements recently released through Hydro-Quebec of all the funding, perhaps there'll be even more good things to come up our way with service and reliability forever.
And no one has had more outages than West Pontiac.
Yeah.
With Mansfield and Waltham, yeah. Thank you. Then there was a meeting about the abattoir. Actually, the Bloc Québécois wanted to come and have a tour. The Comets opener, while they were waiting for the ice at Fort Collunge, it was held in Shawville, and Ed Walsh was there, Bill McCleary, Sandra Armstrong, and Christine Franker for the dropping of the puck. Presentation of a potential forestry project took place. Connexion Fib Picanock meeting, which Lynn Cameron and I are on. Panelist, I was asked to be a panelist at the UPA Forum for their 60th anniversary. It was held at Chateau Montebello. Able to talk about all the good things happening in agriculture in the Pontiac. Forestry meeting with Jason and Louis Campo, who is a former direct manager of the Davidson Mill. We had a very important radon meeting where we partnered with Judy Spence, or the citizens of the Pontiac, and the CISO. It was a great meeting. And as a result of that, Judy Spence had 8,000 bookmarks with all the information about radon testing. She's going to make them available to Kim Lesage, and we're going to distribute them to all of you so they can go out in your tax bill. This will be the easiest and best way to inform your residents about the importance of radon testing. I attended the Remembrance Day services at Chapeau and at the MRC, also at Port Collunge and Portage. CSP meeting, FRR Volley 3, the committee director, many of you are on that. Lunch with the Women's Institute. The carte électorale et de la constitutionnelle du projet de loi 59. This is to do with the CPO. Some of the boundaries are changing again, in particular over in Day-Call-In. Doesn't look like we're going to be affected. We were talking about, is that correct? I'm just asking you.
Adding a county for.
Adding a county because of the population boom, I guess, over in the Day-Call-In area. And it would take place for the 2026 election or possibly 2030?
They've tabled to put a pause on it,
A
so I'm
pause.
not sure if it'll be 2026, 2030, or 2030.
Okay. The Rencontre Partenariale, the Bible Committee, FR Volley 4, many of you are on that. The project for the Rocher, the Loiseau project. Preparation for the plenary meeting, the committee multi-resource, the task force for flood prevention, our plenary meeting, Bryson Lions Club, RAQL, CHIP interview, invitation went to the opening of the community hub renovation, grand opening in Shawville, and the day before went to the grand opening of the library at Elena Kaywood. And Carl, would you like to just explain what's next with your renovation?
Well, we're gonna finish the council room and basement eventually.
Amazing. And I understand you might be putting an elevator in to help.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
There might be a program for funding for that. Also, 50th wedding anniversary, there was a couple in Rapid and I was asked to present a scroll. We had our CPO meeting on Monday, Kim and I. The Chute Collunge Board, FQM special meeting of the Forestry Committee yesterday to do with the closure of Resolute in Maniwaki and the potential closure of Commonwealth Plywood, which I'll be speaking about later in the meeting. The CISO Territorial Committee and the Cabinet of Centride meeting today. Any questions on my report? Okay, I will go on to now something different. Tonight, instead of going around the table, I'm simply going to open up the table for anyone, any mayor that has an announcement of something going on in their municipality. Just put up your hand, and this will be from now until the next, or even, in the month of December. Go ahead, Carl.
Aileen Kaywood has their Santa Claus parade on the 7th of
December,
yeah.
Perfect. What time, is it in the afternoon or
I
evening?
think it's noon till 3 or something like that, or
Okay, very good.
11 till 3, something.
December 7th. Okay, very good. Alain Gagnon,
Bryson, la parade aura lieu le 6 décembre. Parade
6
de
décembre,
lumière,
à quelle heure?
7 heures.
7 heures. Okay, merci. Lucy?
Method Visual Chaîne, we will have the Santa Claus parade the 14th of December at 1 p.m. With the Maison Vision.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Bill, Mayor McCleary? What did you say?
King
Oh, King McCleary.
One employee here that knows me as the king, so.
Okay,
We share Memorial Park with Clarendon. The tree lighting ceremony is Friday night there. There will be caroling. I won't be
this
singing.
Friday night?
Yes, I won't be singing because I want people to stay. And the next night, if I could sing, I would sing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And we'll be at the Seniors Lodge after the parade. The parade is at 5:30. The tree lighting the night before is at 6:45.
The day of your parade again?
Saturday.
This Saturday. Okay. Mayor, Pro-Mayor Armstrong, Pro-Warden, excuse me, Sandra Armstrong.
So it's Santa Claus will leave the Kaywood to come to Mansfield on December the 7th. And we leave the Mansfield fire hall at 5 o'clock to go through for collapse, and then we gather in the arena. And I would say they were skating for the kids, but there'll be a common hockey game that night, so we'll give another night for College and Mansfield to skate for the kids free.
Very nice.
And then there's Souper de Spaghetti, it's for patrol, but they'll be doing their supper at the arena, and it will be starting at 4:30. There's many more for people from the Mansfield, for College or all over, you want to participate. Go to Patrol's Facebook page and they have a ton of activities for the next few weeks.
Okay, very good, thank you. Mayor Christine Franker.
I just want to remind everybody of the Festival of Lights at the École Shoots. It's going to be every Friday and Saturday for the month of December. It starts at 5 p.m. and there's supposed to be something different about it this year, so it's going to be a new concept. I think it will be very exciting.
I'll just elaborate and say that there is a story about a lumberjack, and there are 16 stations. And as you walk through the park, the story continues in French or English, and you press a button and it gives a 30-second. This is apparently sounds great. Thank you. Mayor Ed Walsh.
Just to add, we have it's a seniors hockey tournament starting at the Shop Arena on Thursday, but the Comets game is going to be played at the arena Friday night, part of that tournament or whatever. I think they're playing the team from Old Crescent.
Oh.
So we're expecting a big crowd, a lot of people coming down, so lines are running the bar upstairs, so my market and come see me, it's really nice. Anyway, for expecting a big crowd, I'm on it and enjoy some good hockey.
Okay, thank you. Anyone, go ahead, please. Jean-Louis Corriveau, Calumet.
Le comité de loisirs, dimanche le 1er décembre, ils vont faire un brunch à la salle municipale, 15 $ par adulte et 8 $ pour de 3 ans à 10 ans. Après ça, en haut, à la salle municipale, au 2e étage, le CWL fait une vente de pâtisserie qui est artisanale. Puis le 11 décembre, le club de l'Âge d'Or, il fait un souper de Noël à la salle municipale. Ça sera 26 $ pour les non-membres, puis 15 $ pour les membres. Il va y avoir 50 ans et plus pour être au souper. Puis c'est à 5h30, puis il faut réserver avant le 2 décembre avec Mme Colleen Griffin au 648-2488. Passez tout.
Merci.
Merci.
Doris Ranger, Sheen Grill.
Residence Mayor will be having their dinner on December 13th, and that will include all the residents, the committee members, and the few employees that work.
Do they do this right at the residence?
They do it at
Oh,
the residence
very
because they
nice.
have a nice,
Big room.
common room, and and I'm not sure who's doing the luncheon, but probably Nancy Breezel.
Okay.
And the Young at Heart will also be having their dinner on Wednesday, December 18th, I believe. And everybody, there's about 200 members, and usually they accommodate them all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doris. Anything else? Mayor Corey Spence?
Yeah, just like to mention that the Chapel RA with the Lion Clubs is organizing our Christmas parade this Sunday, 20th.
Sunday at 1?
Yeah.
Okay, and where does it start from?
Starts from the school, Dr. River Field School, and goes up and down the streets and
It's great.
see Santa Claus. It's fantastic.
Wonderful. That's great. Donnie Gagnon?
Just want to mention the monthly draw for Residence Mayor takes place this Friday at 7 p.m. at George's Bar in Chichester. And I also would like to mention that we've had some lucky people that have won twice. Jane, she has made generous donations back to the residents. Thank you very much, Jane. We appreciate it. But we sell 500 tickets at $20 a ticket monthly. And it's been very good for our seniors residents.
How much do you raise in a year with your monthly lotteries?
Up to now, I believe George makes an amount of something like, since we started, it's 275,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so we get support from everywhere.
That's wonderful. Well done. Good for you. And maybe I should stop buying tickets. Although I do want to support you.
Thank you very much, actually, Jim. It's much appreciated.
It is my pleasure. And now we come to public. Oh, pardon me, we haven't finished going around the circle.
Basically, Independence Day, les Amis des Manoirs Saint-Joseph, Friends of St. Joseph Manor will be having a Christmas brunch, December 8th. from 10 AM to 1 PM. It's $20 a ticket. St. John's School are having a Holly Jolly sale November 28th from 4 to 7 PM, which is baked goods, used books, Christmas craft, and all sorts of stuff. And they will also be having a concert, Christmas concert on December 19th at 1 PM. And Autonome Pontiac are handing out free meals again this year. This will be on December 10th. So you have to reserve by December 6th if you're interested in getting a free meal. Royal Canadian Legion will be having a bake sale December 7th from 11 AM to 1 PM. And the Campbell's Bay Leachfield Christmas Parade, December 7th, also from 1 PM. Starts at the St. Joseph Manor and works its way downtown. And then kids can meet Santa for treats and stuff like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And lots going on in the Pontiac. At number 10 now, we're at the public question period. And so we are to give 30 minutes for this. So we're at 7:17 and we will finish if we need to, depending how many people are speaking. We have until almost 10 to 8. Oh, and Mr. Squiddy's all ready. Please go ahead.
I'm the waste.
Exactly.
Thank you for this office. And working fellow mayors. Those fellow press, fellow downtown laborers, and the general population. Over the past 2 months, I have consistently spoken about fairness between municipalities. In 2024, the MRC Pontiac charged inflated shares to 80 and Kaywood, increasing from 112,000 to over $250,000. As an administrator, red flags should have been bing, 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 alarms going off, like what is happening? That could have been handled in 2 ways.
Okay, Mr. Squiddy,
Yes?
I understand you need to make a few opening statements. Could you zero in on questions? You could have a couple of questions for us.
Question.
Yes.
This is just to give some background.
Okay.
To the question.
Maybe another couple of minutes and then, well, maybe one more minute and then I need a question, please. I'm sorry, it is a question period and tonight I'm really going to ask that it be questions.
Here's the question. The MRC had the opportunity to address this in one of 2 ways. One way was to leave it as is. Therefore, the municipality of Aileen and Kaywood, one of the smallest in the MRC, paying the most shares. Or let the municipality of Pontiac handle it on their own. That's what's happening. Now, the question is, at the last meeting, I made a suggestion because we have a committee that has come up with a proposal to make it fair for all the municipalities. Because Chichester got nailed with what we're dealing with, and it's going to happen again and again. The comparative factor isn't working when you get blips.
Okay, thank you. So your question is, you gave us a suggestion and why have we not embraced that?
Well, the question is, we have a proposal. You said that the MRC has a proposal. Let's have an open meeting, invite the press, the people, the 18 mayors, and sit down and let's fix this.
Okay.
Because
not fair. Like how can we be paying over $250,000 in shares?
Thank you.
Sorry I took so long.
And tonight you will hear what we are going to propose as a bylaw. Are there other speakers for questions?
I'll try to be quick. First off,
Identify yourself for the.
Sydney Squiddy, Pro-Mayor of Ainley and Haywood.
Thank you.
First off, I would like to invite anyone who is interested to our December 7th Santa Parade, which starts at 11 a.m. sharp. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring to your attention a resolution that was unanimously adopted by council during our November meeting concerning the annulment of the triennial roll. I will read this resolution if time allows.
Let me just wait for a moment. I just need to clarify something. This is a resolution from your council.
From Ainley and Haywood, yes.
About the annulment of the triennial roll.
Yes.
Meaning that you would like to see.
Yes. It's a resolution.
Evaluations.
The nullification of the 2025 new triennial assessment roll under section 171 of the Municipal Taxation Act. Whereas the municipality of Ainley and Haywood has reviewed the 2025 new triennial assessment roll prepared in accordance with the requirements of the Municipal Taxation Act. Whereas section 171 of the Municipal Taxation Act permits the municipal council to nullify the roll by means of a request for nullification in accordance with the law governing the local municipality concerned. Whereas significant and glaring increases in property values have been observed in this new assessment rule, particularly for vacant lands with increases ranging from 30% to over 700%, which are astronomical and do not reflect the reality of the market, raising concerns among council members and residents. Whereas a striking example of this is a property whose valuation increased from 2,100 2022 to 2024 to 95,200 in 2025, representing a 4,523% increase, illustrating the extent of the anomalies identified. Whereas these increases in property valuations could lead to significant financial consequences for taxpayers in the municipality of Ainley and Haywood. Therefore, it is proposed by Councillor Squiddy that the municipality of Ainley and Haywood request the nullification of the 2025 triennial assessment roll in accordance with section 171 of the Municipal Taxation Act. That the municipality mandates its assessment service to have a detailed review of the methodology used in the new assessment roll to identify the causes of the significant increases and ensure fairness in the evaluation. That this resolution be forwarded to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Pontiac MRC, the FQM, and citizens through the municipality's official communications. That the municipality requests a meeting with the relevant authorities to discuss necessary adjustments to ensure fair and representative assessment of current property value. Now,
so yes, tonight, what's your request or your question?
So if you want to question this without me continuing, I will ask, why did this Council of Mayors and the MRC Pontiac vote unanimously to accept the assessment roll with such inflated numbers with an obvious flaw? Now let me continue with this. We have prepared packages that have been sent to the office of Minister Laforêt, as well as the president of the FQM, the UMQ, and the ADMQ. Today, Isabel Cardinal will personally hand a copy to Ward Toller and to media people present. Additionally, a copy will be provided to our MP, Andre Fortin. We will also be sending by email a PDF version of this package to all the mayors in Pontiac. In this package, we are asking MASH to review the evaluation process and to eliminate the impact of the comparative factor for years 2 and 3 of the triennial roll. To strengthen our approach, we collaborated with Charles Lacroix, an evaluator with over 30 years of experience in municipal evaluation. He previously served as the evaluator for the MRC Pontiac and the MRC Vallée de la Gatineau, to name a few. In fact, Isabel Cardinal sent an email to Warden Toller and Kim Lesage requesting that Mr. Lacroix present his expert advice on this matter at a plenary meeting. Unfortunately, no reply was received. Looking ahead, we will be hosting a public information session on December 14th, where we will provide updates on the evaluation situation. Mr. Lacroix will also give a detailed presentation. We warmly invite all of you to join us for this important event. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to continuing discussions with you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Next speaker or questioner. Please identify yourself.
Christine Anderson from Thorne. So what we're talking here from Alien Kaywood is happening obviously all over the Pontiac. Thorne, it has also seen its problems, and as residents who are being affected with, I can't speak for all of Thorne, like they can't, but it's a seemingly glaringly incorrect evaluations. So and I think that because there's already been an adjustment made by MRC for Kaywood and Kaylin from 370% to 85%. That is kind of conceding that yes, there are issues, there are incorrect evaluations. So I'm just wondering if there's already sort of known and we've conceded to the fact that there was issues with Kaywood, what would make it, like, why would you think that there'd be more mistakes made in the rest of the municipality?
Could I just correct one thing?
Sure.
Or answer a question?
Yes.
So Christine, the 370 down to 85 wasn't the realizing a mistake had been made or bowing to pressure or anything like that. It's what we expected was going to happen. Unfortunately, when the announcement went out to the whole community that everyone's taxes were going up 370% September 15th, that was the time initially, it may have been a day or two after that, that the true evaluation increases for each resident would be known. And the average was more like 85%. So that is just, it may have appeared that way, but it was the timing of when the initial numbers came out and then when the true numbers came out.
Okay, and I'm corrected, but I still believe that there's inaccuracies in correct evaluations.
Okay.
And it's very evident, like on a ratepayer by ratepayer basis in my municipality, and I think everybody can agree to this. So I to take that up with my own municipality and propose that resolution to them. And I hope that that's kind of a nice, like, that will happen because we need somebody to do something. So it looks like it's the citizens once again, but that's all I have to say tonight. And
Okay, thank you, and thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, Isabel Cardinal, the Director General of Abonnez-vous. I have one question for you, Warden Toller, on just what you said. You're saying that the 370 was not a true number, that or 85%.
It wasn't for every resident.
Why are we then asked to pay share based on the 370? That's my question for you tonight.
Okay, and so the answer is that as Christine, was it, or Isabel, or Sydney, an earlier speaker asked why this got approved, right? So I believe as the Director General, you knew at this time last year what your share was going to be for 2024. And I will also say that at the MRC, we have 18 municipalities that all work together. No one can really opt in or opt out. It's called an anomaly, what happened to you. I hope that when you wait to hear what our bylaw is going to include, you will appreciate that a lot of thought has gone into it.
It doesn't fix.
You don't,
the
well,
shares that we have to pay for 54, though. It doesn't.
have you paid your share? Have you paid your shares for 2024?
No, and Kaywood hasn't paid her share.
Okay, so the only way that that money can be made up would be for all the municipalities around here to have to pitch in. So, you know, it is a requirement to pay it. And we do know that next year, 1.0, I think there won't, things are going to be very different for 2025.
Yeah, but we still are paying shares, like in 2023, we were at 114,000. 24, we were at 289. And now in 2025, we're now back at 143. I think it would be a duty to all mayors to address this situation too. And yes, maybe each individual review will have an additional bill to cover this anomaly, like you said, of Aileen and Kaywood. But as a councillor of the MRC Pontiac, because when you're sitting around this table, you're not the mayor of Aileen and Kaywood or Clarendon or Ilizalmet. You're there as a councillor for MRC Pontiac and for the region. And I think what's happening to us, it's not fair, it's not okay. And I do hope that if this would happen to another municipality, that our mayor would have been there and tried help as much as they could.
Yeah, your mayor has worked hard on this issue and he's been very concerned about it. And yet he is one of 18 around the table. And you have put a lot of work into this, Isabel. And thank you for all the work you've done, all the research. And as you heard from our Director General at the beginning of the meeting, we have a chance to finally move our own bylaw. It's the first time we're doing this. And after it will actually next year, knowing that it will be at 1.0 an average, this will be more impacted in 2026, our bylaw. But if for some reason we think that it needs adjusting, it can be adjusted. We can vote another bylaw.
So you're saying that it's gonna be brought back at the table about the 2024 amount of shares?
No, that is behind us. That is behind us.
The issue, Jane.
Well, there is more information that I'm aware of that I would not want to say right now, but I believe. I'm just saying to you that it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, you know, we're now at the point of almost the end of 2024. And I think you're still hoping that there can be a change for 2024. And the budget that was adopted is the budget that we have had to move forward with in the shares.
Be revised for the 2025 budget.
Well, we have
Our shares for.
in our bylaw, we have some mechanisms in place that we think will be fair for all 18 municipalities, including yours.
But
So-
we're too late though. Like, yes, you guys are doing action, but this should have been done, like, I'm repeating myself, 2 years ago when Mayor Daniel brought this to the attention. Now, Aileen and Kaywood are paying over 170,000 more in shares.
I'm not going to debate, Isabel.
It's just saying.
Thank you very much for your points. Thank you. Is there another speaker? Sydney, excuse me, no. Thank
I
you.
just have one simple question.
Well, let me first see if there's someone else in the room. We've still got time. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question or speak? Angela, yes. Yes, thank you.
I had a couple of questions, but now I've changed my focus. So one thing I wanted to mention is that increase where we mentioned 85%. We've been going through every single property in Kingwood. And what I've found that I find very odd is, you know, we have some that have increased 4,000%. okay, and others minimally.
Could you just give an example?
So you need an example of.
4,000%.
I gave you the
Yeah.
example, actually.
Yeah, so
I'm asking Angela.
There's an example, 2,100 to over $100,000 or $92,000. Yet when you do filters on government Quebec lots, like huge forestry lots, I found so many properties that their values have decreased. So when you have a lot of crown land, like say a government Quebec lot that's like 1.2 million, and it's decreased to 1.1, or it was 865 and it went to 630, that's decreasing our average, right? So yeah, it's looking like 85%. But why are these government of Quebec lots decreasing in value? And that's looking like our number is decreasing because of it. And I really see this as a major issue. Now, I'm not sure, like we see it in A and C, but if all of you were to look at your government lands, you may be in the same situation. I don't know if there's anyone in this room that can answer why those government lots are decreasing. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So that's a question. I don't know, can anyone answer that?
I'm going to get the answer for you. I don't think anyone here could answer that, but you raise a very good point, and we will get the answer for you. I could probably get the answer by tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's a good point.
So I have that, and I just wanted to go back to the shares, but I'll make it very brief. I understand that all of the councillors at this table think that if the shares get adjusted for Elaine Cable for 2024, that it's money out of your pockets. But the way that I'm thinking of it, and I think we should all think this way, is it's not money out of your individual municipalities' pockets, because we were overcharged to begin with, right? Our shares went from 112,000 to 289, a difference of $177,000. So we actually would be overcharged, and if we had paid, we would have overpaid. So can we not just take from the surplus to adjust those shares? Am I making sense? So it's not coming out of anyone's pocket, and any individual, it's coming out of the surplus. That's my, and I have one more thing.
Yeah, that has been requested before.
Okay.
And so you're just asking again.
But we haven't heard any answer.
Yeah, so I don't know if there can be any progress on that.
I think the answer is that it's precedent setting, which means it may sound like a quick solution, but we have a certain amount of money that always has to stay in the surplus. This is our advice from our auditor. So if we were to provide the 177,000 to you this year, that would take a big chunk out of the surplus, and it wouldn't be advised. And what will we do for, what if there are 2 or 3 municipalities in the next year? This setting, and we heard the request, and the answer is no.
It's something that we're gonna continue to challenge, and everybody here knows. Like okay, and I swear this is my last thing.
Yeah, I do know. I'll just say that the Municipal Affairs has recently met with your council and has given some.
No, that is absolutely not true.
I don't mean met like physically. I know has had a conversation at least with, if you want to know who, I think with Isabel and maybe Carl. I thought it was the whole council, but anyways, they had some very good ideas and solutions to help.
Okay, and I'm not aware of that because I'm not a counselor, so.
Right.
That's
Any, one last question, Angela?
Yes. So it may sound petty, however, I'm going to repeat it. We had requested a couple of months in a row, because we were expecting a large attendance, that the meeting be moved to a larger room. And Jane, I do appreciate that you tried last week, but it didn't work out. I understand that, I think multiple mayors had an issue with the short notice. So my comments about that are, I'm losing confidence, because a simple logistics change of moving a meeting to a larger room it's taken over 2 months to accomplish that. It didn't really be an issue tonight, you didn't have as many people as expected, but can we establish some kind of process where, yes, it's a big issue tonight, we're expecting a lot of people, and we easily adapt to changing situations like that, and not take over 2 or 3 months to implement a simple logistic change.
I think you weren't here right at the beginning of the meeting. Okay, so I did go over this. We have a bylaw here from 2023.
I'm
At this point, there's no flex. When I was trying to move the meeting, what this says is not 72 hours, but 7 days, public notice, and has to be voted on in public. So what I did say earlier is, for us to move, first of all, the equipment will not be as good for those who are watching it or seeing the tape afterwards. Also, there's a cost involved, and we are mandated right now to meet in LC Gibbons. For the future, I did say that if we could assess how many people by literally emailing or phoning, putting your name on a list in enough time for our plenary meeting, we could vote to change the location.
So then we would request it, say like a month in advance, if this scenario would.
Even 2 weeks in advance, but.
Okay, but you said you have to vote on it at a public meeting.
Right, so if we had our plenary meeting, which is usually not public, and do that part in public, vote for a change of location.
So we'd have to know at least 10 days ahead of time.
Have to have.
72.
Okay, so 10 days, you're right. So if we had 2 weeks notice, that would be a good thing.
Okay, thank you, it's just to be aware
You're
of the
welcome.
process, because otherwise it's.
Okay, Angela, if you'd like to come up, you can take this. This is the bylaw.
Oh, and this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that serves for anything.
Thank you.
That was a bad notice.
I didn't hear it, but
You haven't.
I haven't been, okay. Okay, okay, is there anyone else who has not been heard from? Linda Davis, please come up.
I've been addressing Linda Davis and Charlotte. I've been finding it somewhat difficult to follow. Back when I was doing opposition to the incinerators, my mayor, Bill McCleary had actually said, all you have to do is call the MRC, ask them to change the name. And I had actually called, left messages, and a couple got back to me. So my mayor was under the understanding that all you had to do is simply request it. So no one had said anything to the contrary. Now all of a sudden you found a motion that's saying that it's got to be done in such a way. Why aren't you coming forward this evening with a motion that's going to allow you that kind of flexibility? Has your staff not done a cost analysis, how much the room is gonna cost? So you have staff here anyway, they're gonna move the equipment, they move things over for the breakfast that you had for some play. So is that going, why not have the motion now come forward?
Thank you, and we're going to be discussing this in December at our plenary. Just exactly what you've said.
Okay, and I have set up 5 minutes to talk the question. Another question is, my understanding in reading the legislation says that you're allowed to do plenaries, but your plenaries are not to be advancing any matters or that are before your council. So when in fact I'm asking questions of the mayors, some mayors are very open and will share information of what was discussed at the plenary, because it's not secret, it's not under any of those categories of litigation, staff, employed, of any of those circumstances. So in fact, you can ask for in session what was actually discussed. Is that not correct? No, you're saying no, why?
Sorry, can you just rephrase your question?
So a plenary, you're not allowed to advance any business before council, so any substantive, you can't have any votes. You can't make any decisions, decision-making role is at stake.
Just when you say you, who are you referring to?
Council.
Oh, so at the council, we're not allowed to advance any Advance meaning talk about it outside after the plenary? Is that what you mean?
What you're talking
No, I'm
about
just
at the
trying to
plenary-
understand your,
Well, I think most people understood that. What happened is when you're at the plenary, you're going through and you're supposed to be discussing what the agenda is. That was one of your primary purposes, is it not according to the act that I've read? So you're planning for the next session. In fact, you actually have all-day meetings. The point I'm finding is that the public is missing the opportunity. When your staff is doing research, when you get background, you must have gotten background information on the evaluation. Why is it not released at the same time with the agenda in a timely fashion, not a couple of days before, because people can't adjust their schedule? Why is there such I mean, you sat on a large council, so did I. This would never happen. They're released 10 days before, 2 weeks before. So why is this happening here, that we cannot get timely information? Why don't we see the motion in advance that you're going to be hearing about in a few minutes that you're talking about? Why is that secret?
I think that is a very good question. And I think it's something that we can work on.
Okay, who's taking the lead on it then? Who gives the commitment that staff should or EG should have the responsibility to report back to council and to all the public as to how you're going to break it down in steps, how you're going to accommodate a location, the request from the public to change the venue, and you're suggesting that you have to submit names of people? Oh, no, that's very anti-democratic. You can't go that way. So you look at the list and go, no, should we go? There's been problems with accusations made against the groups. There were 4 groups on the incinerator, and there were accusations made that there were people that weren't part of my group or any of the other groups. So asking for a list in advance, you don't go to Toronto Council, you don't go to Ottawa Council, have to sign in or ask in advance so you can get a receipt.
Usually, if someone wants to speak, be on a speaker's list or ask questions, they do register in advance. They can still do it when they arrive. But we're not going to argue, but you've asked me a lot of different questions, so I'm going to give you a very brief response. We're all going to take responsibility. Usually though, you're correct, we have staff in particular, our greffier, our director general, that are more involved with the planning of the agenda. And you've made some excellent points, and we will be discussing.
But when everyone takes responsibility, that's called confusion of responsibility, and nothing gets accomplished. We've been talking about some of these things now for at least a couple of years now that I've been coming to address your council. So just those very practical things would really go a long way to allow people to understand. Like walking in now and listening to you read, and you can't see or read off of the screen, even if you put it up there what the motion is going to be. It's not allow people to sit and look at it and contemplate what are the meanings and what could be the downstream effects. So you're not allowing people to have, you're not even allowing, I think, your mayors to actually have enough time to go back to their councils with the timeline. So we need to do something better in terms of the way the process flows.
Thank you. Very good points. Well, this finishes our 30. Oh, sorry, Sydney, yes, go ahead with your one question.
As was demonstrated here tonight, our shares went from 370% to 85%, oh, sorry, not our shares, our evaluation, an increase 370% to 85%, which is great. But isn't that proof in and of itself that being charged our shares at 3.7 comparative factor, the inflated amount, is incorrect? The fact that that evaluation from the FQM, from Cab came back 85%. We were still charged on the original at 370%. Does that not represent the glaring error in the data, in the calculation, and in our overcharging of our shares? You yourself, Jane, when you attended our June meeting, you stood there in front of 80 residents of Alien and Kaywood and said 3.7%, 370% is a false number. You were correct. It was a false number. That was not what our evaluation turned out to be. It came down to 85%. Why are our shares of 2024 still charged on that 370%? As I said earlier, it's proof in and of itself, irrefutable proof from Cap Cavache, the expert who you hold so much weight with, has proven, has shown that that is flawed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You've asked your question.
Is there an answer?
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Well, we're voting next month and we have a bylaw to present. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out tonight. I beg your pardon.
You're not voting on the 2024 shares.
We
right?
voted last year.
On our overcharged
That was,
shares.
you've known about that since January of 2024.
We have known, yes,
Yeah.
we have known.
That's what was voted on.
Which was proven by your own expert.
That was what was agreed to and voted on. Okay, so we're going to now move along in the agenda, and I think the next item will be the bylaw.
Actually, the,
Oh, yes, I've got something I need to read, exactly. There's a statement of disclosure of pecuniary. No more comments, please. Thank you. Good.
You want to go to self-titled?
Yep.
Both of them.
Déclaration de divulgation des intérêts pécuniaires, préfet, statement of disclosure of pecuniary interests as the warden. In accordance with the provisions of the Act respecting elections and referendums in municipalities, I am filing before council my statement of disclosure of pecuniary interests,
You just deposited that.
which I have given to our treasurer.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Now we go on to 11, general administration, 11.1, the bylaw calculation of shares and the filing of the draft bylaw. So right now it is for information, and can I just ask if I need to have someone move as a notice of motion to table it? Do you want to?
Yeah, it's just the draft bylaw.
It's just the draft bylaw, but we still don't need someone to take carriage of it this month so that we can vote on it next month? Okay, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me, could you? It's distracting having you here, and could you please put your tripod back at where everyone else is sitting?
Is there an audio recording?
Yes, yes, and a really good visual. We've got a new piece of equipment called an Allo. So
Incorporate somebody else's video in my own recording, there is regulations about that. Ma'am, I would need broadcasting quality of this meeting, and therefore I need to know the close to where the speakers are. For sure.
who are you representing?
I'm an independent international journalist. I report for German media. I report on my own website at informé.net.
Okay, well, in the last meeting that you attended, I was very lenient, and you were actually interviewing the people in our meeting. You were here, you were there. And I find it distracting having you standing there. So could you please move your camera? I'm sure it's.
It's one of the where people speak, otherwise.
It's only.
Interfering with my recording.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to ask you to leave the meeting.
Is this a public meeting?
I'm not arguing. I've asked you to take your tripod and place it where the rest of our audience is, please.
How do I obtain the audio recording?
We,
Available on our website.
exactly.
I can just download it? How does it work?
I'm not sure. I'm going to close the door, actually. Going to close the door.
This really looks like you're evading responsibility.
I'm not. I'm certainly not. I'm actually,
in this room. Everybody
my
sees this
responsibility
audience.
is to the people of the Pontiac.
We're not supposed to be talking.
Yeah. Okay. I'm asking you to leave the meeting. Thank you. So, yeah. Okay, order in the room, please, and this person is going to move, and then we're going to close the door. Thank you, that's right.
After the question.
Okay, 11.1, the bylaw calculation of shares, the filing of the draft bylaws. Going to ask our Director General, Madame Lesage, to give some background as to how we have come up with the bylaw.
Alors, ce soir, on fait un dépôt du projet de règlement pour les codes-parts à la MRC Frontière. Fait que je vais vous donner un peu d'informations générales. Il y a eu des discussions avec le comité de finances, le comité budget, qui sont en cours depuis quelques années même. On a eu plusieurs discussions suite à la demande de la municipalité de Chichester, puis encore ici depuis les derniers mois. Alors, on a regardé plus de 50 stratégies de calcul des codes-parts pour les autres MRC au Québec. Les options allaient de la séparation des parts en municipalité en fonction de la population, de la superficie du territoire, des valeurs foncières uniformisées, etc. Certains pourcentages de ces différentes options. Puis, il faut se rappeler qu'il faut qu'il y ait un consensus au Conseil des maires. Alors, juste à cause qu'on en parle aujourd'hui, ça ne veut pas dire qu'on n'a pas parlé en 2023 lorsque la municipalité de Chichester. Mais c'est une décision qui vient du Conseil des maires, puis il faut qu'il y ait une décision unanime, ou au moins en majorité. Il y a eu aussi des recommandations du service d'évaluation de l'FQM et du MAMACH, les affaires municipales, qui étaient les mêmes en ce qui concerne le maintien d'un élément du facteur coopératif. Également, le MAMACH nous a confirmé qu'il n'est pas possible de passer à 19 rôles triennaux dans une année. Puis ça, c'était en vue de l'article 14.2 de la loi sur la fiscalité municipale. On peut demander l'extension des rôles pour une meilleure répartition des rôles, mais ça ne donne pas l'option de les raccourcir ou d'engendrer plus de travail dans une année fiscale. Un débat puis de calcul sur la multitude de combinaisons avec le comité budget, le comité finances. Puis on a accepté un projet de règlement que je vais présenter dans quelques minutes. So, in English, this is for a filing of a draft bylaw for the calculation of municipal shares. A little background information is that there's been much discussion with the budget committee or finance committee ongoing not only several months now, but for a couple years. Just because we're talking about it today, about adopting a draft bylaw or depositing a draft bylaw, doesn't mean that we weren't looking at it in 2023 when we had the request from the municipality of Chichester. I'd like to remind everybody that this has been looked at, but we needed consensus to be able to adopt a draft bylaw at the Council of Mayors. And without having a consensus, a majority agreement on this, that's why a decision hasn't been made till today. So we've had examples of over 50 MRC share calculation strategies. We've consulted them. We've looked at various options, such shares per municipality by population, by land area, by property values, by standardized property values, and more. Also combinations of different of these. We've had recommendations from the evaluation services and from municipal affairs from the MAMACH in regards to retaining an element of the comparative factor. Also, we've received confirmation from the MAMACH that it's not possible to switch to 19 triennial roles in the, and this is with respect to Article 14.2 of the La Loi sur la fiscalité municipale. MRC and the municipality can request extension of roles for better disbursement of roles, but doesn't give the option to shorten it or to increase the workload in a given year. And now, after much debate and calculations of the multitude share combinations, the Finance Budget Committee have agreed on calculations as draft bylaw that we present today. And not only has the budget committee agreed and approved, but at plenary, we went through it the past 2 months really to look at different options. And this is what we are proposing tonight. I'm not reading every article because some are preamble, some are definitions. But that it will be available for consultation. This bylaw is known as and it's for the distribution of shares arising from the annual budget of the MRC. It's aimed to establish the criteria of the distribution of shares imposed on municipalities of the MRC Pontiac and providing payment of budget expenses for the financial year from January 1st to December 31st of each year. That's article in Article 1. If I move to Article 3, the distribution. The municipal shares are distributed based on the following criteria. Property values at 50% and standardized property values at 50%. Ce qu'on suggère pour l'attribution des quotes-parts, c'est 50% basé sur l'évaluation foncière et un calcul de l'autre 50% basé sur l'évaluation foncière uniformisée. The property assessment rules to be used are those deposited annually between August 15th and November 1st of each year by the MRC's assessment service. The comparative factor used are those approved and published by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. And then Article 5 describes the payments of the terms for the shares. So they're payable in 3 installments as they are now. So the first third amount is due on April 1st of each year. The second third amount would be on July 1st of each year, and the remaining amount would be due on September 1st to the MRC. And then Article 6 is for interest. So any amount of shares established by this bylaw that has not been paid by the due date, as prescribed in Article 5 above, will bear interest at a monthly rate of 2% and thus an annual rate of 24%. And looking for someone to table the draft bylaw.
It's we're giving notice of a draft bylaw, so we need someone just to table it. We'll vote next month.
But somebody has to table it. Usually the person that
there'll be no public consultation comparing bylaws, that's it.
It's up to the Council of Mayors.
Yeah, a lot of research has gone into this, and we have looked at 50 other MRCs as well. And we've looked at a timeline of 80 or 90 years of history of evaluation in the Pontiac. So which mayor moved by, or sorry, taking carriage by, Mayor Odette go down. Okay, thank you. Is that it for now? All right, so we'll go on now. So this will be formally voted on, but our Director General has said that this is information can be public. You can look at it, you can analyze it if you like. And you're welcome to come back to our December meeting if you'd like to give your opinions. But we when something's been tabled, it's not usually changed. So we'll be voting on what you've just heard in December. Mayor,
I just gotta make a comment.
Go ahead.
Is this has come back plenary again?
No. Well, it's been tabled now.
It's been tabled, but that doesn't mean it passes in December. It depends on council.
You have to adopt.
We have to vote on it in
That's what I
December.
mean.
That's right. We have to vote on it.
Okay,
But
I just wanna know.
but it's had all of the legal approval. It's had, you know, we've done the research. I don't think it's going to change at the next plenary, if you wondered about that. All right, we'll go on to 11.2, sale for taxes. Lil DeGrand Calumet.
So this resolution is to give myself and Warden Toller permission to sign a sales for tax on Ile du Calumet, and it's with notre maire.
Please, can you please keep some silence? One person speaking. Go ahead.
The owl is very sensitive and
Yeah,
we
I
did
can hear.
get a few comments from people at home saying that they can hear people talking at the same time. So just everybody.
Yeah, and I should just say, if anyone wants to leave the meeting, you're welcome. We're finished the part about the bylaw. And now we're into the rest of the business of the meeting. So if you'd like to stay, we'd be delighted to have you. It's not that long an agenda. Or if you'd like to leave, we could take a little break because there might be some noise. So just wanted to at least let you know that this concludes the part that I think we came to hear. Okay, go ahead.
Cette résolution, c'est pour une vente pour taxe à l'île du Grand-Calumet. C'est pour donner la permission à moi-même et le préfet de signer chez le notaire Mireille Allary pour une vente à l'île du Grand-Calumet.
Okay, resolution moved by Jean-Louis Corriveau. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 11.3, sale for taxes, Sheenborough. Kim?
Encore une résolution pour une vente pour taxe à la municipalité de Sheenborough, puis pour signer chez Maître Mireille Allary. So this is another sales for tax to allow Warden Toller and myself to sign at Notary Mireille Allary's for a sale for tax in Sheenborough.
Okay, moved by Mayor Brent Orr. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 11.4, rent for the Stone School, Portage de Fort, the Pontiac Artists Association. Dollars that's being approved right now, it's 1,200. Very good, just to know.
C'est une résolution. On a eu une demande de l'association des Pontiac pour qu'on la MRC couvre les frais de loyer pour novembre et décembre 2024. C'est 600 $ par mois, alors 1 200 $. Et en raison de difficultés financières. So considering that the Pontiac Artists Association is experiencing some financial difficulties, they've made a request to the MRC that we support them by assuming the rental costs associated with the Stone School, which we own for the month of November, December, and so that's for a total amount of $1,200.
Okay, moved by Mayor Lucy Paquette. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 11.5, the intervention dans les recours entrepris à l'encontre de municipalité par l'UPA. Kim?
C'est une résolution pour que la MRC Pontiac accepte FQM continue les projets dans le recours collectif à l'encontre des municipalités par l'UPA. So this is a resolution for that we accept that the FQM intervene or continue to intervene within the framework of a recourse and that we services to make necessary representations in and paying for the related costs. It's not only the MRC Pontiac that is taking this, but there's a total of 60 MRCs.
60? Yeah. Okay. Very good.
And 3 cities that are challenging.
Okay.
Yeah, that have been challenged by the UPA for this.
Moved by Mayor Lucy Rivet-Paquette. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 11.6, the property assessment contestation cases.
When you get your new role, you have from January 1st till the end of April to contest. Once those are gone through the evaluation department and to the FQM evaluator, and often you try to come to an agreement or a compromise. If not, the next step is to go to the Tribunal Administratif du Québec. And for the 2023 contestation cases, it is to go ahead and hire DeVaux for the legal services at $200 per hour. Alors, service d'offre juridique pour les contestations en évaluation foncière, nous suggérons d'aller avec DeVaux Dufour Motel Avocat pour ses services au tribunal administratif du Québec. C'est pour une somme de $200 de l'heure.
Okay. Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 11.7, the bylaw 303-2025 about the assemblies of the MRC Pontiac for the year 2025. And this is a notice of motion, so I need someone to take carriage. Mayor Christine Francoeur. Thank you.
Jen, I have a question, just
Yes.
to make sure it's clear with everybody. Is this every time we have to pass a motion when we move from this hall? Or is this good for all?
Well, every year we adopt, c'est un avis de motion, oui, c'est un avis de motion pour nos séances de l'Assemblée pour l'année en cours. Alors, on fait ça chaque année en novembre. So each year in November, we adopt a resolution that say when we're gonna hold the sittings and where. So this is for 2025. And most of them are will be held on the third week of July, Wednesday of July in the evening at 6:30, with the exception of one in January. That's gonna be a week later. There's no sitting in July, and there will be one in November. Yeah, like today on the last Wednesday of November.
Thank you. Okay, 11.8. This is a support resolution for Valley de la Gatineau. Regional equity, the driving force behind a more balanced and prosperous Quebec. The moteur.
Fait qu'une résolution de support pour la vallée de la Gatineau, puis c'est pour une équité régionale, et c'est un document qu'ils veulent adopter, le moteur d'un Québec plus équilibré et plus prospère, puisque le ministère de l'Emploi, il y a des règlements qui sont plus mur à mur, puis pas spécifiques pour les régions rurales. Alors, je demande de supporter ça. So we're recommended to support this resolution by the MRC La Vallée because it is to have a more equitable resources for the ministère de l'Emploi and not imposing wall-to-wall standards that don't reflect specific needs of rural communities.
Okay, thank you. And so a resolution moved by Mayor Doris Ronche. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. This is 12.1. Thank you, Kim. Good job. Financial report and Clark. Yes, thank you. And this will be for a resolution.
Yes, so this is for the MRC monthly report. We're currently for our accounts receivables at $1,533,712, which includes our loans to businesses across the Pontiac, which are at $756,000. We have a list of accounts payable, $350,359.98. And the checks that were made in the last month, $645,015, which some came from FR Stream 2, and also our union fees were off the payroll. We've had a donation to the Forum for the Radon, some cultural projects, Transport Action, the contribution from the MRC was 143,000 out of that amount. And then we have the travel expenses for council for the last month, the month of October, $1,403.92.
Thank you, Annie. Any comments or questions on her report? Okay, could I have someone please move her resolution? Thank you, Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor, opposed, and that carries. 12.2, budget 2025 summary resolution, Annie Vinecourt. This is going to be a summary of our 2025 budget. Great, thank you. Thank you very much.
Just we'll get the presentation on the screen as well. And it'll be available on the website once it's adopted, so probably tomorrow, whenever Francis is able to put it on there. So I'll present to you tonight the summary, which is this presentation, and if anyone has any questions, then I'll be able to answer them. So first off, there's a couple little pie charts here that are showing the revenues. So for the 2025 budget, the revenues are 8,913,136 compared to $9,858,728 for 2024. So you'll see that 2025 is less, and we'll see the same thing in our expenses. And I'll explain it when we go over more detailed numbers. And at the bottom of that sheet, you also just see the four like main sections, which are showing in the pie charts that where revenues mainly come from the shares and from grants. The next page shows again just a little pie chart just to give you a visual of where the expenses are. $913,136, equal to the revenue, so for a balanced budget. So a lot of it goes into development projects, the development department, assessment, administration, public security, geometric, and so on. So now to give a little bit more detail on it. So first off, the revenues. So as you can see here, the shares are at $4,206,000, which is the same amount as 2024. Same total amount, but the distribution, of course, between the municipalities is different. In our other revenues, so these are revenues that are not grants, we have municipal services, $160,839, so a small difference from last year, and this is mainly from the TNO for the staff that works here for the TNO. We have revenue from the license office, the SAQ, so $109,043, which will remain a fixed amount annually with an indexation every year, instead of being based on our transactions, because our transactions are decreasing. The SAQ fortunately offered this, which will allow us to have a higher revenue because it would normally be decreasing every year. Then we have our Crown land leases. So this is actually the 613,000 is equal to what the expenses are, just because for the MRC budget, the leases have to be separate. They cannot affect the MRC surplus. And then we have in other revenues, in there we'll have interest, revision fees, our sale for tax fees, other management fees that we receive from the leases and Connexion Québec. So that's $204,829. The main increase from last year is bank interest. Then for all the grant revenues, so we have the first line diversification revenue that comes from the MAMASH every year. So that amount has increased from almost 16,000, so it's $229,985. Then we have for our summer students, we can get about $4,500 there for a grant to help pay the salaries. The renovations program is the SHQ, so we've budgeted the same thing as 35,000 because it's very varies every year, so we just kind of try to keep it the same. Land use grant is the PADF. So again, this is normally a 3-year agreement. We're going into a new 3-year agreement with the Ministry of $672,584. It's the exact same amount. This is a fund that is managed here at the MRC for the whole Outaouais. So the funds are distributed between the different MRCs and the city of Gatineau. So is used for the management of the Table Gia. Then we have all of our development grants, and that's where we have a difference this year, why you saw that our revenues were lower. So we have our FRR grants, so those, and so the number 1 and 2 are still in effect, and we re-budgeted them because again, this was a 5-year agreement with the Mamash that is ending this year. And so we're going into a new 5 years, but we don't have all the information yet. They have told us that the stream 2 will exist again and to just rebudget the same amount. So that's what we did. The streams 3 and 4 have been prolonged for a couple of years, so we haven't rebudgeted those, and that's why there's a difference in our revenues, and we'll see the exact same difference in our expenses. But they're for Transport Action, $328,600. And then we have the PPJ maintenance, so we always request $125,000 from the MPQ, which covers 50% of the costs. And we also have an amount that we should be receiving next year of $142,000 for work that was done as well. So then we're going to appropriate surplus again to balance the budget. So $162,309, which is about 17,000 more than what we had allowed last year to balance the budget. And then so this gives us the total revenues of $8,913,136. So going into expenses now. So the first part is administration. And so legislation is the expenses related to council. So all of the 18 mayors and wardens' salaries, and then all of the overhead expenses for the use of the building. There is also convention expenses, meeting expenses, bills and stuff like that. So just an increase of 13,000 from last year. So that's 381,986. Then for the staff, administration staff, so for salaries, benefits, travel expenses, etc., we're at $1,603. So it's just about the same as last year. Some expenses went down, the salaries always go up a little bit. It was a 2.5% increase for 2025. Then for legal and professional fees and auditor fees, we're at $60,000. And other expenses, $144,289. That includes public notices, training, translation, all of the software, communications, subscriptions, association fees. Then we have the SAEQ license office, which costs $155,980, which is mainly for the staff to man the office. So, and as I said, we have $109,000 coming in as a revenue, so the difference is paid for by shares. There's nothing for engineering and infrastructure for 2025. And then we have public security. So the first amount for fire and civil protection, $124,731. There's no salaries in here. It's just the there's a contract with the company to help us with the fire safety inspections. There is a budget for the SQ cadet program. So we actually doubled the budget to $20,000 for 2025, as the council requested with the SQ to have extra cadets next year. There's the off-road intervention, so a budget in there for interventions that are done with the municipalities that have to go up and do rescues and whatnot. So then the MRC will be billed for that, and also travel training and software. And then the animal control, so that's what is paid to the SPCA, $114,346. For the assessment department, salaries, again, benefits, travel expenses is $453,591. The contracts, which would be one with the FQM for all of the evaluation services that cannot be done here in-house. And we also have still a contract for the inspections. So those two amounts total $577,721. With the changes made there's a decrease of 133,000 from last year, so that's a savings. And then there's software and other expenses, of course, for that department. There's a few softwares, they're quite expensive, so that adds up to $224,984. Then we have for a line called professional human resources. So there's 10 employees in that section for 762,208. And we have their public security employees. We have our environment staff, geometric staff, our land use planner. And then, and then environmental health, $62,403. There's an increase of 31,000 from last year because we budgeted for some mapping for wetlands. Then we go to planning and development. So planning, $11,415. That's just like running the planning, like if the land use planners budget basically. So for public notices, software, their training, travel expenses. And then on a separate line, we had the revision of the land use plan. So last year there was $100,000 budget, which mostly came from the Stream 2, FR Stream 2, and it's still being spent because there's a contract with a firm for that. And so for this year, for 2025, we know that we'll be receiving a grant from the MAMASH to help with the les OGAT, les orientations gouvernementales en aménagement du territoire. So should be receiving about $69,000 in a grant. Some of it will be used in-house and some will be used for outsourcing contracts. So we put 39,306 for that. Our geometric department, so again, for their supplies, software, overhead expenses, they have map supplies because they have the big printer and do all those documents. So that's $23,831. And there's now 2 people in that department. For the Crown land leases, which I mentioned earlier, $613,282. A lot of that is the some of it are the salaries for all the staff that work for the leases. And there's also $200,000 that is budgeted to go to the TNO for some road maintenance. Strategic development, so those are your FRRs, $875,370. So that's where, again, you see the decrease, where we saw the decrease in the revenues and you see the decrease in the expenses as well. Trail maintenance, so that's mainly the PPJ, also the Wazer Walker, any other trails that we need to work on that are owned by the MRC, and also the waterway. That's $270,000, a decrease of $15,000 from last year. For culture and heritage, there's the it's $101,000. There's the agreement, the cultural development agreement for $75,000. There's a budget for sports and leisure of $20,000 in there. Then there's transportation. So these are the transfers from the MTQ that come in and then they go back out to Transport Action, $328,600. And the MRC on the next line contributes to the organization. So Transport Action and Transcolline, so the bus line that goes through to the city. For a total, this comes from shares for a total of $352,557. Then the next line of $83,000 for special projects. So in there we have what the MRC's portion of for Connexion Fit Picanok. There's the School of Arts, hydro expenses. We have here the tourism information booth. So when we hire students in the summer, that covers their salaries and some sale for taxes expenses. In the partnerships and development, so that is our PADF that I mentioned in our revenues of $672,000. Plus, we also have our tourism marketing, $75,000. So that's the $701,955. For the development department, the total cost is $973,621. There's 11 employees there, and then there's all of their travel expenses, training, association fees, and all the rest of that stuff. and the overhead for all of the planning and development is $60,196. The renovations program, so the SHQ, we saw a revenue of 35,000, an expense here of 31,500. There's a small portion that stays at the MRC because we have staff here that work on those files as well. And then other expenses, this is insurance at the Chutes Coulanges because the MRC owns some of the property there, so we have to pay insurance and expenses on our electric cars, so that's $7,600. The cost of financing, so that is our long-term loan for the in here, so we'll be paying 70,000. Capital expenditures, we've budgeted 27,000, which is 13,000 less than 2024. It's mostly going into IT equipment. So that gives us a total expenses of $8,913,136, which is the same as the revenues. The next sheet has the detail for the overhead expenses. So those expenses are separated into each department depending on the number of employees and the space that they use in the building. So it's all of the postage expense, courier, phones, email expenses, our office supplies, website maintenance, and then all of the building maintenance. So the cleaning, photocopier leases, the garbage recycling, heating, electricity. So that's the total for all of that is $295,765.84. It's an increase of $18,823 from last year. The next slide is just to show some information of the evolution of the standardized valuation. So of course, that's the values with the comparative factors for 4 different years. So 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and then you just see the percentage of increase each year. So the 2024, 2025, of course, is a small percentage because most of the municipalities are back in year 1. So it just kind of flows up and down like that. Then the next slide has the shares. So you have your total shares for 2025 compared to 2024, and then the last column shows the difference if you're paying less or more between the 2 years. And then we have the evolution of the shares. So again, just showing from 2022 what the shares have been and the percentage increase or decrease or staying the same in the case of this year. So that's just it for information. And the last one has a separation of all the shares between the different departments. So what each municipality pays for each department. And of course the payment schedule, which is always 3 payments. And yes, so that was the last slide. Are there any questions?
Any comments or questions? So we need a resolution to accept this summary. Okay. Moved by Mayor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? You're voting against it, Carl? Okay, so Carl, Mayor is being recorded in opposition, please. And everyone else is in favor, so that carries. Thank you. 12.3, the adoption of bylaw 301, 2025 expenses and revenues of the Pontiac MRC 2025 resolution.
Yes.
So is there
Yeah, so
anything
that's
more for you to
it's
say at
the
this
same
point?
numbers that I presented. They're just in a bylaw per department because this is the official bylaw that needs to be adopted for the revenues and expenses that I've explained here in detail. You can show it on the screen, but same bylaws every year. There hasn't been any changes other than the numbers.
Okay. All right, can I have someone move this resolution, please? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? And you're opposed, Carl Mayer? Okay, Carl Mayer recorded in opposition. Everyone else in support, so it carries. Thank you. And so next, 12.4. The notice of motion and draft bylaw on the remuneration of the warden and members of council 2025. And we need a notice of motion, someone to take carriage.
Yes, so this is the notice of motion for the remuneration for 2025 for the elected council here and the warden, which we followed suit with same thing as the staff is a 2.5% increase for 2025. So it's all detailed in the bylaw for the amount per plenary meeting, council meeting, and the total amount for the year.
Okay, any comments or questions? And we'll be voting on this in December. What I just need someone to take carriage of it, please, by taking carriage by Mayor Brent Orr. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Annie. You've done amazing. It's not easy to summarize a budget like that at a public meeting. Thank you very much. All right, now we go back to, thank you. Management of territory. And we have Carrie Richardson tonight in the place of Jason Durand. So we start with the environment, 13.1.1, support analysis of the proposed expansion of the Mount O'Brien Biodiversity Reserve, MRC de Pontiac, a resolution, Carrie.
Donc, vu que les 3 points qui suivent sont en lien avec le fait de projet d'être protégé par le gouvernement de Québec. So the next 3 points are in relation to the call for tenders or call for projects from the Quebec government for protected areas. So the first point that we have is la résolution d'appui à l'analyse par le gouvernement de la proposition d'agrandissement de la réserve de biodiversité de Mont Brian. So this is in the municipality of Illinois-Kingwood. And so what this is for each project that was submitted to the government as a proposal requires a resolution from the MRC. So just as part of the context and as part of the resolution, this is not to say there is going to be a project, but it's to pursue with the analysis project for a potential protected area. And in this case for the Mont O'Brien. So this is the resolution that I'm bringing to the table today.
I have a question. And the funding for these, we're voting on them separately, but the first project, for example, the money is coming from a grant, or where is the money coming from?
This is a call for projects from the Quebec government. So they just said, give us your proposals for protected areas. So all the ones that have come to our MRC are all on public territory.
Okay.
And so they submitted their project, and the way Mont O'Brien is, they have like a kind of pocket in the middle, in the center of their current protected area. So it's just to designate that as part of the larger protected area.
Okay.
So they submitted their project to the government, and now the Quebec government says, in order for us to pursue with the project analysis, we require a resolution from the MRC. So this is one of the projects that we received. If you recall, last month we received CPAWS presented a project, and we supported their submission to the Quebec government for analysis of the project. So it's not to say there is going to be a protected area in this region, but for analysis, and there'll be d'étape de consultation, harmonization tables after that will allow municipal and public participation when studying the protected areas. So this is the first resolution that I'm bringing to the table in support of this analysis.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I'm not supporting it.
You won't be supporting it, Carl Merritt? Okay.
What is it? Is that good in English?
Okay, well, usually, if you have a comment or question, that's great. We'll find out if you support it when I ask for a show of hands. So, first of all, I'll ask all those in favor of this resolution. Okay, and all those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it carries. And this is just to obtain. Okay. A double majority. We weren't doing a recorded vote. Okay, we're going to do a recorded vote, and then we'll see with the double majority if it carries. I'm just going to explain to our audience what double majority means. First of all, we do a show of hands, and then we look at who it is that voted yes or no. And based on the populations, if the number is greater or I'm explaining something and I don't appreciate the laughter. Would you like to apologize, please, Ms. Squiddy?
I actually wasn't the one who started laughing, but I will apologize. Sure, I'm very, very.
Okay,
sorry
thank
for
you. Thank you.
laughing at another
Okay,
member
thank
of
you,
the
because I'm trying to explain.
Yes.
You should, I think, be interested in this because it will depend which mayors support it and which mayors do not. We add up the populations, and in this case, we would need a double majority for it to pass. Okay, so we're going to start, so I'm going to go down the yes and just say yes or no, please. Okay, Elena Kaywood.
No.
Okay, Bristol,
No.
Bryson,
Oui.
yes. Campbell Spade,
Yes.
okay. Chichester,
No.
Clarendon,
No.
Fort Calange,
Yes.
L'Île de Grand Calumet,
No.
L'Île aux Allumettes,
No.
Litchfield, no. Mansfield et Pontefract,
Oui.
Otter Lake,
Yes.
Portage de Fort,
Yes.
Rapide des Joachim,
Yes.
Shawville,
No.
Sheenborough,
No.
Thorn,
Yes.
Waltham.
No.
Okay, so just one moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are against.
For instance, that we
And then the yeses are 1, 2, 3.
double majority
Excuse
against.
me, just a moment. I know, but I am the chair of the meeting. I know I'm taking a little longer. Let me just at least announce how many were yes and no, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 said yes. So the noes carry, and then based on population,
53-46 in favor of the goals.
53 to 46. So this motion is, does not move forward. It was not, accepted. Okay. Order in the court. Okay, 13.1.2. We have another project, Carrie Richardson. This is a resolution. Support analysis for the protection of wolves in a defined area of public territory, MRC de Pontiac.
So in the same vein, again, this was a project that was submitted already as the Mont Brian one, as the CPOD one already submitted to the ministry. Donc, ça, c'est l'Association québécoise pour la protection et l'observation de la faune a déposé une demande pour la protection des loups. And so, yeah.
Okay, yes, we're gonna take a break, give everyone a chance to leave. Actually, I'm going to call a 5-minute break until 10 minutes to 9, in case anyone would like to stretch their legs. Is it possible?
That's what Terry's gonna do.
Say that, I think.
Think of it that
That off or on? All right, our recording system is back on. And we're going to go back to 13.1.2, resolution Carrie Richardson for another project looking for support analysis for the protection of wolves in a defined area of public territory, MRC de Pontiac. Carrie?
Hi. So again, same kind of idea, a proposal that was submitted to the ministry, not to designate as a protection area, but to study or further analyze the possibility of it being a protected area. So this one by l'Association québécoise pour la protection et l'observation de la faune a déposé une demande pour la protection des loups en territoire public. Again, only in public territory, including part of Élan-Kaywood, Lac-Nigo, Otter Lake, Rapid, and Sheemborough. So again, this association has submitted the project. And if I go back, it specifies in the resolution for an analysis of their submission, which will be followed by harmonization tables for discussion with municipalities, other local groups, to see if it's even a good idea to protect it. So this is this resolution that I'm bringing.
Okay, thank you. Could someone, any comments or questions?
I have a question. When you talk, the MRC, do you mean like the TNO?
It's all public areas, yes. All public land. So it'll be parts that that are not in they're not privately owned. It's all government land.
Crown.
Yeah, it is crown land, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff goes on there. What happens if it becomes a protected area?
That will be part of the analysis.
I'm sorry.
That will be part of the analysis. So if it's determined that, there's too many people living in this location, this probably isn't a good idea to have a protected area, then it'll be flushed as a project. They're gonna look at all factors. Like I said, this is a proposal as part of the move to protect 30% of territory in Quebec. They said, give us your project so we can attain this goal. So this is how organizations are just submitting their projects. We would like to see this. And then the ministry will do an analysis to see, because these territories have forestry on them, they have mining, they have all kinds of elements that might not be possible to have in protected areas. So they're just gonna have to figure out where their good location is based on the projects that are submitted. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Would someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Corey Spence. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, well, that carries. Thank you very much. It was not a close vote. 13.1.3, analysis of outfitting territories. Conservation effort, resolution carried.
Donc, le troisième projet, c'est une résolution en appui de l'analyse des territoires dépouvoirés dans la MRC Pontiac. So this is from the outfitters. So there were 11 outfitters whose territory lie entirely within the limit on part of the MRC, who wish to submit to the government to identify areas to be protected. So they got together, and this is their project they submitted. And again, another project for analysis by the government.
Any comments or questions? Could someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Doris Ranger. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. 13.1.4, detailed wetland mapping mandate awarded to Ducks Unlimited Canada, MRC de Pontiac. Resolution carried.
So I think there's a typo there. It hasn't been awarded yet.
Okay. No, I
Les
guess not.
séances sont pour donner un mandat de cartographie détaillée des milieux humides à Canada Unité. So we received a quote from Ducks Unlimited to continue with our wetland mapping. So currently we have good mapping for the southern portion of Pontiac, but there are municipalities that are not included in detailed wetland mapping. And these are things that we will have to integrate into our land use plan, our land use development plan. So the goal of this resolution is to give the mandate to Ducks Unlimited. And Annie mentioned earlier, we already have set aside an amount in the budget It'll be $70,000, but paid over 3 years. And they're ready to start as soon as we're available to give them the mandate.
Okay, very good. Comments or questions? Could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Lynn Cameron. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. And finally, 13.1.5, the Environment Committee resolution carried.
Okay.
Two new members.
Donc, nous avons un comité d'encadrement à l'Énergie frontière. C'est le comité chargé de considérer les questions relatives à des matières résiduelles. So this committee is in charge of everything that's regarding waste management and other files in environment. And we had the request two new members. So Mayor Lynn Cameron and Acting Mayor Jennifer Quayle. So I would like a resolution to add them to the committee.
Okay, moved by a question, yes?
Who are, so those are two elected officials, who are the
They're all elected officials on this committee. It's an MRC committee.
It's an MRC committee.
It started with
solely,
6 mayors and now
elected
8.
officials.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who's all on the committee?
Me.
I can list them. It's Mayor Corey Spence, Mayor Odette Godin, Mayor Christine Francoeur, Mayor Sandra Armstrong, Mayor Ed Walsh, Mayor Bill McCleary, Acting Mayor Jennifer Quayle, and I missed you, pardon me, Marilyn Cameron. So it's 8 altogether. And the first order, I guess, of business that they had was to go over the tender for our waste contract for 2024 in the spring. And now you're hoping to have a meeting, I think, in the beginning of December and the thought is it's waste management is the main mandate because in the PGMR, it said a committee needed to be struck. But it could also look at climate change. It could look at radon, anything to do with the environment. So could someone move this resolution, please? Moved by Mayor Colleen LaRiviere. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Good job tonight, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've done a great job. 13.2, Ken Lesage. We're going to the temporary suspension regarding areas inconsistent with mining, the 11th renewal. A resolution.
Une résolution qu'il faut adopter aux 6 mois pour la suspension temporaire des territoires incompatibles aux activités minières. So this is a resolution. It's the 11th time we adopt it. It has to be adopted every 6 months while we're revising our schéma d'aménagement, our land use development plan. And it's for the temporary suspension regarding areas inconsistent with mining. And so we need a resolution to send to the Quebec government to request a renewal of that suspension.
Okay. Moved by Mayor Donny Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 13.3. Sustainable Forest Management Program Signing Authority, Resolution 10.
C'est une résolution pour notre le PADF, alors le Programme d'aménagement durable des forêts. C'est une autorisation de signature. So we need a resolution regarding the 2024-2027 PADF Management Agreement. And this resolution must include the agreement to renew the PADF, designation of the MRC as designated delegate for the MRCs of the Outaouais, authorization for the warden to sign the management agreement, and for the general manager, myself, to sign any other documents relating to the management agreement.
Okay, could I have someone move this, please? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 13.4. Valley de la Gatineau Forestry Crisis Cell. They're asking for support. And we have, we're in a similar situation. We have another resolution coming up ourselves. So could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. Maybe we could say unanimous. Could we, for the support for that? Thank you. 13.5, creation of an emergency fund to support self-employed workers.
Again, a support for the MRC de Bali.
Okay, they've asked for, I think, 250,000 from the provincial government because they've got 280 people out of work with Resolute closure in Maniwaki. Who would like to take carriage of the resolution? Mayor Doris Ronche, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's unanimous. 14, economic development, Terry Leclerc. 14.1.1, sponsorship request, Shawville Clarendon RA, Leaders of Tomorrow program, resolution.
Good evening. Oui, demande de commandite pour le centre créatif Shawville Clarendon for a youth program leadership request for funding, and basically helping to develop leadership skills for volunteer youth in sports programs. So it's a request for $400. Resolution, please.
Okay, thank you. Who would like to move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Brentor. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.1.2, donation request, Maison des Jeunes de Pontiac for jiu-jitsu support. Resolution.
Yeah, demande de don from the Maison des Jeunes Pontiac for organizing a jiu-jitsu program. I believe it's in
Mansfield.
Yes,
yeah.
There we go. And the recommendation is for $200 donation. Resolution, please.
Thank you. Who would like moved by Mayor Carl Mayer? All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.1.3. Donation request by the Knights of Columbus of Port Columbus, Terry Leclerc.
Yeah, this is from the Knights of Columbus and Port Columbus for the to support their Guignolé, which I don't have a date written down here in front of me.
You know, I think, eh? Food drive, do you know the date with the Knights of Columbus?
December 13th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The recommendations for a $200 donation to support this activity to support families in need at this time of the year. So resolution, please.
Thank you. Moved by Mayor Christine Francoeur. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.2, 2024, the Regions and Rurality Fund, FRR2, Funding Program Festivals and Events 2024. Karen.
We have two requests, one for Volet 1, Ski Pontiac for Moonlight Ski, une demande de subvention de $500 pour l'événement. And then the second one is Volet 3, which is Country Fest at Port Plonge. And this is a larger scale event, obviously, and the recommendation is for $5,000.
Okay.
Resolution, please.
Thank you very much. Voting on both at the same time.
Correct.
Okay. Who would like to move this? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.3. Participating municipalities, MADA, Collective Approach, MRC of Pontiac, Terry Leclerc.
Yep, we talked about this before. We have 13 municipalities who got on board. You can see all of them there. And this is basically to update our policy from 2012. And so which we will be partnering with these municipalities to update by law.
Okay, someone like to move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 14.4, call for tender project manager, PFM MADA Collective Approach, MRC of Pontiac. Resolution, Terry.
So once again, this is in coordination with the MADA and the PFM. So with coordination by the MRC and 12 of our municipalities to bring up to date the PFM policy. And then as well, we need to go to for call for tenders for the project manager to help us organize everything, do the public consultations. It's fairly extensive. So we need a resolution to be able to go out to tender for that project manager.
Thank you. Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 14.5, a request for funding from the Local Economic Development Program, DEL, for tourism initiatives. Resolution Terry.
Programme de développement économique local demande de. Sorry, we're looking for funding from Dell to modernize our signage on the PPJ and promote tourism in our area.
Okay, do you know the amount of money?
Not on here.
We don't, okay, just a request for funding, okay? So what are we,
It's just a resolution to go forward.
And this is just to ask for.
Forward, yeah.
oh, I understand.
Financing?
Okay, we're not,
Spending yet.
I understand.
If we
Thank
get
you.
approved, then-
Yeah. Moved by Mayor Donny Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. 14.6, the Agribus a Dow shelter and slab resolution, Terry, for care for.
So we need pass a resolution to accept quotes for our bus shelter and slab as per the MRC Transport Hub project from the FRR4 vitalization program. So that'll go over here. I think there's $13,000 from FADCO and $24.50 for the Dal de Baton. So I need the resolution.
And 75% of that is covered by the
By the
MTQ program.
Thank you.
MTQ, very good. All right, thank you. Resolution moved by Mayor Raymond Pilon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries.
Thank you very
Great
much.
job. That was your first time, I think. In the evening?
No.
Going through, no, second time? Well, you had a lot to cover tonight. Well done. Thank you. I was trying to give you a compliment.
I'll take it.
He was only lying.
Okay, public safety. And Annie Vinecourt is going to look after this, correct? Okay, thank you. So 15.1.1, first of all, adoption of the fire safety cover plan, and then the resolution for the readoption of the implementation plan, PMO.
Yes, on a besoin de résolution pour la réadaptation du plan de mise en œuvre. So this is a resolution for the readoption of the implementation plan. So this is in relation to the fire safety cover plan. So because there was changes made, it has to be, we have to pass a resolution to readopt this implementation plan. Same thing as we did with the TNO earlier.
Any comments or questions? Who would like to move this resolution? Moved by Lucy Rivet-Paquette. All of those in favor? Against? And that carries. 15.1.2. Adoption of the fire safety cover plan for project for approval by the Minister of Public Security. Resolution, Annie?
Okay, so again, in the same vein, this is to adopt the actual fire safety cover plan, so the project document that was submitted. And also to await the results from the minister's review before proceeding with the implementation plan.
Thank you. Who would like to move this resolution? Moved by Pro Warden Sandra Armstrong. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 15.2. Resolution pour le renouvellement du contrat pour la fréquence opérationnelle mise à la disponibilité des SSI. Resolution, Annie.
Okay, so this is a contract that we've had in the past years with Excel Radio Group CLR. So they've resubmitted again a new contract to supply the service to the MRC for 2 years. And they're still using the same rates with a 3% annually. So it is recommended to go ahead and renew this agreement, please.
Okay, thank you. Would like to move the resolution? Moved by Mayor Carl Mayer. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 15.3, the adoption of the SQ Annual Activity Report, 2023 to 2024 resolution.
Yes, so this is the report that was given by the SQ to the
Public Security Committee, so they've analyzed the report and they are recommending that it be adopted at the Council of Mayors.
Okay, moved by Mayor Alain Gagnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that carries. 15.4. Yeah, I think we have done this. Is this the second time or are we buying another evacuation sled?
No, this is with the TNO. It's the same.
They're paying a quarter, we pay a quarter.
So we have to move it in both agendas for two different budgets.
Okay.
Well, good for you. You were pretty sharp to notice that. 15.4. So this is the MRC contribution to the purchase of a medical evacuation sled for snow rescues. Resolution, Annie.
Yes, so as mentioned earlier in the TNO meeting, so there's a partnership with the fire department of Otter Lake to purchase an evacuation sled for snow rescues. So Otter Lake Fire Department would cover half of the cost, and then the MRC a quarter of the cost, and the TNO the other quarter. So there's a bid that we received that was $18,109, including taxes. So 1/4 of that would be $4,257.35. So for the MRC, it is proposed that this budget come out of the Public Security Department. We're just reallocating a budget within the department from a line that wasn't used to pay for this sled. So if that's the resolution that we're requesting.
Okay, thank you very much. Could I have someone move this resolution? Moved by Mayor Ed Walsh. All those in favor? I'm getting ready. You've got your big roll at the end of the night. Don't worry. All those in favor? Opposed, and that carries. Thank you. And now we go to miscellaneous, and we added 16.1. And just to reiterate, I received the news that Commonwealth Plywood are having difficulties after having had their mill open since February 2023, which was, a great, took a big effort to get it open, and they had invested funds, but they've run into some difficulties and they need our help. So I'm just going to read the English version of what I hope we can all support tonight. Considering Commonwealth Plywood reopened their sawmill in Rapide des Joachins in February of 2023 after significant investment. Considering that immediately after the announcement of the reopening of the mill, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry announced a significant reduction in the volume of the guaranteed wood that they could cut. Considering that the cost of fiber has not increased in a significant way. Considering that the Minister of Natural Resources and Forests retired or ceased an important funding program to assist with the cost of construction and refurbishment of forestry roads, thus contributing a higher increase in procurement costs. Considering that the market for their products remains difficult and that the prices are not providing profitability. Considering that Commonwealth Plywood harvest in a mixed forest and that there is no stability with the takers of species and products other than those they use in their production. Considering that they have now informed the Minister of Employment and Social Solidarity and the Warden of MRC Pontiac that for economic reasons they foresee stopping operations of the sawmill for an indeterminate time. Considering that the date for this closure is December 19th, 2024, and will impact 23 people. Considering the Warden of MRC Pontiac has had a special meeting of the FQM Forestry Committee yesterday to discuss an action plan due to the current crisis of forestry in the Outaouais to work towards reopening of our mill as soon as possible. Therefore, be it resolved that the Warden of MRC Pontiac and the Council of Mayors extend their strong support to Commonwealth Plywood and the municipality of Rapide des Joachins and demand from the Minister of Natural Resources and Forests the reinstatement of the financial assistance program to construct and refurbish forestry roads and to reinstate the original wood allocation to Commonwealth Plywood at the Rapide des Joachins sawmill. This requested resolution is to be sent to Premier Francois Legault, Minister Meg Blanchette-Vizina, Chief Forester Louis Pelletier, Minister Geneviève Guilbeault, M&A for Pontiac, Andre Fortin, MP Pontiac, Kitigan Zibi, Sophie Chattel, and members of the CPO, which are the other wardens in the Outaouais and the mayoress of Gatineau. And I would ask the mayor of Rapide des Joachim, Lucie Rivet-Paquette, to take carriage of this resolution, and I hope this can be unanimous. All those in favor? Opposed? So we'll have it recorded as unanimous. And now we come to a big moment, which is the closing of the meeting. And there's no contest. I believe that the person who wants to move this motion is Mayor Odette Godin. All those in favor? Opposed? Oh, we got one in opposition? We can't say it's unanimous? I think he's joking. Okay. It carries. The meeting is closed until December. Drive safely, everyone.